What's going on, everyone? Alan here, aka the Bird Bay, and in this quick video I wanted to talk about how I got my little Elfie Welfie over there in the back, my Senegal Parrot, to really become my ideal parrot. And really the ideal parrot is going to be different for like every single person, right? People have different goals. Some people want to have a free-flighted parrot. Some individuals that I speak to just want to have the ability to have their parrot step up onto the hand and receive affection from their owner without being scared, right? So that ideal parrot relationship is going to be different person to person, but I just wanted to talk about what I did to work with Elfie so that he can be the ideal parrot for me, right? And everyone's going to be different. So basically I got Elfie about 2-3 years ago now at this point, and you guys probably already know a lot of the story. He was essentially rehomed. He had a lot of scared tendencies, and he still does. As you can see, he's usually uncomfortable in new scenarios, new situations. But with that being said, I knew that it was going to be in his best interest to really just work with Elfie step by step so that he can enjoy a better quality of life and we can do different things. So basically for me with Elfie, the way that I started it, like most of you, it was maybe not knowing as much about parrots, just feeding them what the pet store or the breeder had given you without maybe having too much idea or too much understanding of the different fruits, the different foods, the different veggies that you give your parrot and how it's going to impact its overall health and how it acts toward you, right? So the first step for me was getting the diet dialed in. Elfie in the beginning used to scream first thing in the morning, and he was just kind of very needy for attention. Anytime I left the room, he would yell. And one thing that I did first was work on his diet, right? I basically made sure that he was no longer eating high-fat seed mixes anymore, and the next best step for me was, okay, well, let's try pellets. And then you realize that a full pellet diet, although it's better than an all seed diet, has a tendency to have a lot of sugar, although it's well balanced depending on the brand. That's one of the complaints that I've seen a lot from different people. So then the next best step, or the ideal scenario for me, was to change the pellet mix to a more healthy, nutritious pellet mix with less sugar in it. One of the brands that I've seen that's pretty good is Harrison's pellet mix. So if you're interested, check that out. But aside from that, I also made sure that I started giving Elfie fresh chop. And for a lot of parrot owners, fresh chop is going to be something that's difficult, right? You don't always have the time to invest in fresh chop and making fresh veggies every day. But what I do show you how to do, if you check out my previous video on this channel, making healthy parrot food, I show you how I go about making chop from one day over the weekend that lasts me basically 2 to 3 months, and I give Elfie a little bit every day. Obviously we freeze the majority of it so it contains most of its nutrients, get a lot of air of that bag, and then from there, we're defrosting the night before what we're gonna give Elfie, and he gets 1 big tablespoon in the morning and then pellets after his training session in the afternoon. So that's one way that I worked around it, so that it's not just, hey, this is going to be too difficult for me and I'm going to have to sacrifice because I got to make fresh chop every single day, right? That's obviously not feasible for everyone with your busy schedule and stuff. So that's the next best step, or the in-between, so to speak. Aside from that, the next thing that I really made sure that I dialed in with Elfie was making sure that he was getting proper sleep every night. And in the beginning, I wasn't doing it right. Maybe like you didn't know either in the beginning, right? You thought, hey, sticking the cage in the living room and just kind of covering him at night or not covering him at night, he's still going to get quality sleep, right? Not necessarily, because if you're hanging out late in the evening, you're watching TV, you're watching Netflix, and there's car explosions going off and noise going off, that's all going to contribute to your parrot's overall quality of sleep. Just like you can sleep for 8 hours, but if you're tossing and turning and you don't get consistent restful sleep, you are still going to feel unrested in the morning, right? So it's the same thing for parrots. So basically what I did then was I made sure that Elfie was in another bedroom, and I covered him up, and now he sleeps in his own room covered with a double blanket, and he has blackout curtains. That way if we're out late watching TV or something like that, or whatever it is, having friends over, he's covered and he's in another room and he can still get his quality of sleep. Those two things alone drastically changed his behavior. It stopped him yelling as much. It stopped him from being as needy for attention. So those are like the two easiest things that you can do, and it's amazing how just changing your bird's diet can completely change its behavior, and you can work with your bird toward it becoming your ideal bird, right? Same thing with Elfie. The next thing I did from there was make sure that Elfie is mentally stimulated with the toys that he has in his cage, so he's not always needing to be around me 24/7 and isn't always demanding attention from me. Because I do work from home, so he's kind of lucky. He's a lucky parrot in that sense, right? Elfie, you lucky back there, buddy. You lucky. Yeah, you get to hang out with me all day, 20 hours a day, don't you? Anyway, back to the point was that, Elfie was hanging out with me a lot, and whenever I would leave the room, he would start yelling. So what I did was, like I've mentioned in my previous video, if your parrot has issues screaming, check that one out. It was just to really ignore the screaming when he was screaming for attention, and I would only come to him when he was quiet for at least like 3 to 5 minutes and no longer making any noise, to really just teach him, hey, if you yell, you don't get what you want, but when you're quiet, your human comes over on his own. So that was a start. And I had a little side trick that I used to use back then called minus reinforcement. So other ones, basically not giving positive reinforcement, or positive reinforcement when he's quiet, you come over, he screams. The next thing I did was negative reinforcement, which was doing something that he doesn't like, but not necessarily punishment. So he would always be fascinated and slightly scared of this little D-bot, this little cleaning machine. So I had a little trick. Whenever he would yell and he wouldn't stop and he would go on and go on and go on, I would just turn it on to sweep the floor, and he would be like, ooh, what's that? And it would entertain him, preoccupy him, and then he learned, oh, when I yell, this thing that sweeps the floor, comes on, and I don't like that. But when I don't yell, I also get what I want. So over time, he just kind of learned, hey, don't yell. Human's gonna come over, next best thing, teach him how to make a squeak, make a whistle. If you do that, instantly, I know you want attention, I'm gonna come over and get you. So that's what I did. Screaming, diet, and then quality sleep. And then from there, which I would say the next best thing I did was making sure that I was giving him enough quality time throughout the day. So it's one thing to have a parrot and, let him be out and about on a stand and just hanging out. Like, technically, Alfie's hanging out right now. He's back there kicking back, and he's out of his cage, but we're not spending quality time. He's just hanging out on his own. Quality time would be like him being on my hand, me scratching him, giving him lubbies, or doing trick training, and really giving him focused, undivided attention to him. That was another thing that I did that really helped Alfie out, because it started him really getting used to me and liking me, and it reduced the biting altogether because I was focused more on bonding with him when he wasn't used to me. Then over time, really just focusing on trick training, focusing on indoor recall. I started with the basics. His first trick he ever learned was a simple wave, and I was so excited. And I didn't know anything back then, but I gave him a whole half a peanut. He had it good back in the days. Now he gets an eighth of a peanut for a simple trick. So anyway, that's another conversation for a different day. So that was one of the things that really kind of helped me and Elfie in terms of having our relationship grow to where he's the ideal parrot. And for me, really, what is the ideal parrot to me is a parrot that can self-entertain, is healthy, is playful, is energetic, not scared to be around you, and has the ability to learn with you, to work with you, to do indoor recall, to call him when you call him, and to really understand, hey, these are kind of the rough boundaries of what my human likes and what he doesn't like, but also in exchange for me respecting these boundaries, I get the ideal things that I want, and I'm also a happy bird. So it's always about the win-win. It's not always about, hey, what is it that I want, because you have to work with your parrot. Every parrot's different. He's a Senegal parrot, but he's going to be different from, this Senegal parrot to the next one you meet can be somewhat similar but completely different. He's going to be maybe more shy, more relaxed, more self-entertained, and you'll meet another Senegal parrot who's more energetic, chirpy, makes a lot of sounds, likes to do flips, likes to do tricks, and is just completely different. And that's okay, right? Because we are all humans in theory, but we're not the same person to person either. So it's the same thing with parrots. And the other thing I will say, like if you're thinking about long term, what can I do to build the ideal relationship with my parrot? Well, really think about what is the ideal relationship for you and your parrot, right? You want to first start off by defining what you want out of your parrot and exchange what you can provide for your parrot. And just set goals to work with that, right? With me and Alfie, part of that was self-entertain, a parrot that I can take out with me, and probably not going to be a free flyer, who knows, but the next best thing for me was let me harness train him, let me put him on a harness, and we'll take Alfie outside and, you know, just enjoy times together on walks and stuff like that. Come here, good bird. Yeah, don't be scared of the camera, I know. So yes, with me and Alfie, I say we're definitely working toward that direction. The thing that I've always wanted to work with Alfie on is just making sure that he's a more comfortable parrot that gets exposed to new scenarios, new situations. I got him when he was 8. You know, I don't know what had been going on with his previous history for all those 8 years. I know that he was cage bound for 3 years because his previous owner couldn't really work with them because her husband was sick, which is totally, it's life. Sometimes it happens, and you know, you can only work with what you got, huh, buddy? Yeah, we're gonna be the best parrot duo, huh? The best parrot human duo, buddy. Yeah. Can you give me a kiss? Oh, you're such a good bird. I'd give you a treat, but I forgot them. I know you're looking at my hand like, where are my treats, bro? Where are my treats? But don't worry, I got some treats later for you. That's no problem. But anyway, guys, this is it for this quick video on really how I got to work with Alfie to be my ideal parrot. Again, it comes down to something that's going to be step by step. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. You know, I've had Alfie for basically 3 years now, and sometimes even just like the harness training itself took like 3 months from very beginning to end because he was shy about it, and it was incremental steps, and it was like a little bit each day. So I would say no matter what you're working on with your parrot, be consistent, practice patience, and enjoy the process, right? At the end of the day, it's cool for parrots to do the things that you want and be able to do X, Y, Z with them, but it takes time. And if you think about it long term, you know, your parrot is going to be around for many, many years, especially if it's younger, and you have time, right? So investing time, that maybe something will take 2 months, 6 months, who knows, you invest that time and energy. Well, once you've done that for the next, you know, 30 years, you're going to be able to enjoy that relationship with your parrot that much better. So that's it for this quick video, everyone. Alan and Alfie here signing out, and we will see you guys next time. But before we go, Alfie wants to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also check out the Instagram for him and I that we have in the description below. And if you want, comment on what other topics you want me to cover when it comes to parrot training. That's it for this quick video, everyone. Take care. Goodbye. Alfie says goodbye too. Bye-bye.